This podcast is proudly supported by our patrons at patreon.com. Our executive producers for tonight's episode are Anita Harivnik and Kelly DeMall. Thanks, Kelly and Anita. You can join us at patreon.com/Sleepless Knights Podcast. All systems go. Space.
I think you mean
space.
Reality.
In the dimension a foot to the left.
It's more than a linear path.
It's an adventure.
It's a prism.
With consecutive life sentences and no parole.
It's a prism. A prism. And what are you doing anyway, Paul?
I'm adding some spice to the guacamole here.
No, you are ruining the guacamole, okay?
I am making it better.
No, you're not. Shut up. Of endless possibilities.
We control the horizontal. We control the vertical.
Where a single choice can branch out into infinite realities.
To seek out new life and new civilizations.
Quit it.
What? What do you mean?
Just shush, okay? Shut your mouth.
Fine.
Creating alternate worlds from the ones you know.
By changing them 25%.
I am the Watcher.
I have come to wash your window.
Not washer.
What?
Watcher.
You said washer. Why did you
No, I said watcher. Watcher. I am your guide to these vast new realities.
As we play the star-studded Big Money Match Game 73!
Follow me and ponder the question.
Pardon me. Do you have any grape upon?
Huh?
Where's the beef?
No.
How many licks does it take to get to the center of this Tootsie Pop?
No.
How do you spell relief?
No.
Can you hear me now?
No, Paul.
Is it live or is it Memorex?
No.
Aren't you glad you used dial?
No.
How about got
What the? In the universe to the right, Mr. Lobo would hit the snooze bar 20 times this morning, as he does every morning. But in this reality, a foot to the left, he promptly wakes up when the alarm goes off and greets the new day with its endless possibilities. Oh, what a day.
All right, are you ready over there? You got your coffee? You're all ready to go, ready to roll with this?
Yeah. Let me get a little more coffee in me here. Yep, got it.
Got your pancake syrup and all that other horseshit.
I'm gonna
I
put
don't
a
know,
little
whatever
blueberry-
holistic things you're trying to put in your body nowadays.
I'm gonna put some blueberry pancake syrup in my coffee here. I think that's probably give it a little zip.
All right, I'm gonna chart this. I'm gonna slate this a while. Okay, so this is episode 106. This is what if. What? Like
W-U-T?
W-H-U-T. What?
Mm-hmm.
Who names
With an
these
H?
things?
It was an H also?
Yeah.
Usually on the internet, like in a meme, it's always just like W-U-T.
What? I don't
Right?
know. I mean, does the pantsless decoy write these things? Is he the one that comes up with these titles? Because
I mean, we don't have to call it that.
I don't know.
I mean, there's endless possibilities, right? We could call it anything.
Guess, but yeah, I mean, people would need to know what this.
Maybe the people at home get to choose what the name of the episode is.
Well, let's count this already. 3, 2. You know, I mean, it's kind of what if. I mean, we could almost do like what if Paul actually took some time out of his day and wrote the sequel to the pod drama that nobody asked for.
What if people actually cared?
What if instead of recording a show,
pod drama, yeah.
Instead of recording a show. What if instead of recording a show promptly at 7:00, we jabberjaw for like 2 hours, and then we spend another 2 hours coming up with some jackass intro that we'll never use again? What if?
Yeah, and what if we spent all that time making an intro for a show and then had like absolutely no content for the show itself.
Right. Well, let's get the recorder going before we can get doing this. Ready? In 3, 2. I mean, do we even have a topic?
I mean, don't we usually wing it? We'll come up with something. It'll be about something. It always is.
All right. Ready? In 3, 2. Because I'm drawing a blank over here. I don't know.
I'm not 100% sure what the episode could be about. You know, I feel like.
I mean, we burnt through our best topics. I mean, we burnt through the Care Bear movie. We burnt through Suicide Squad. We burnt through Loki twice. I mean, we somehow got 2 episodes.
We got 2 episodes out of Loki. Yeah, it's interesting. We do a lot of Marvel stuff on this.
Right.
I think that, and I'm not sure why that is. I mean, I know that you're a comic book guy. You love Marvel.
Right. Maybe should we do one on Shang-Chi? Is it Shang-Chi or Shang-Chi?
I actually think it's Wang Chung.
Wang Chung.
Yeah, everybody.
I've been saying it wrong all my life. Then.
But I didn't see the movie, but I have been reading, and by reading I mean watching a lot of YouTube.
Okay. Hold that thought. Ready? In 3, 2, 1.
You're not dreaming. You're watching. Well, no, you're not. You're listening. You're watching.
You're watch a podcast.
You're washing and you're watching. The Sleepless Knights podcast. I am your spectral narrator, Mr. Lobo, and floating out in space.
Aren't you Utah? Utah,
Lieutenant Uhura.
Utah.
The Mormon.
Utah, the Mormon watcher.
No,
I shall not interfere.
Mm-hmm.
I only watch.
That's right.
With my magic undies.
My magic undies? But no caffeine for me, for I am the Mormon watcher.
Mm-hmm.
No,
I am Utah, the Jehovah's Witness.
I can have 6 wives, but no coffee. So anyhow, our apologies to our Mormon listeners.
Sorry.
This is our episode. We're trying to think of what this episode could be about. It could be about anything, right? I mean, that's the whole. I feel like we should have set it up at first.
I mean, you think we would put it in the title? I mean,
yeah,
or at least somewhere in the title. I mean,
you were saying Shang-Chi, right?
Yeah.
Shang-Chi. Mm-hmm. So I saw these YouTube videos.
Okay.
One of the videos, they talked about the 10 rings, which in the comic book, the 10 rings are actually rings that go on your fingers.
Right.
Now these weird bracers
that's
that go
what
on
the Mandalorian wears.
Yeah.
From Iron Man? It makes
the Mandalorian. You mean the Mandarin?
Oh, yeah. Like the orange.
Yes.
Right. The orange Mandalorian.
He's got an orange, yes, he smells like citrus.
Right.
And he was the bad guy in Iron Man. Mm-hmm. And but actually, Mandarin is kind of standing in this case, for Fu Manchu. Okay. Fu Manchu, who also has rings on all his fingers and is an awful stereotype. In the comic book, Shang-Chi, Master of Kung Fu, there was they had bought the rights to Sax Rohmer's Fu Manchu novels. And so all the characters in Shang-Chi, Master of Kung Fu, in the comic book were characters from Fu Manchu. And Fu Manchu was Shang-Chi's father, and he was supposed to inherit the family business, but he wanted to be a good guy. And then all the other characters from Fu Manchu were in there, but they lost the rights to Fu Manchu, so they had to create all these sort of amalgam, sort of made up.
It sounds like the similar problem they had with
replacement characters.
It sounds like a similar problem they had with Rom the Space Knight, because they had the rights to Rom the Space Knight. They made all these characters of Space Knights around Rom, and then they lost the rights to Rom, and it's like then they ended up with all these legal issues. There's actually another thing where they created a character for Transformers when they had Transformers
Space
too.
Knight. Yeah, because all the side characters are still their characters.
Right.
They created all this artwork and all these characters. Although in the case of Rom, I believe that the Rom the Space Knight was part of the name of the toy.
Right.
And he was slaying the dire wraiths. That was all in the lore of the toy itself. But they didn't really go into detail of what they looked like or
what those things were. It was just sort of a bunch of patter to put on the box of this toy robot. But Marvel fleshed all that out and showed us what the Dire Wraiths were and showed us what the Space Knights were. And now that content is not, none of those characters are usable in the Marvel Universe because Parker Brothers, who is now owned by Hasbro, owns all of the, I would assume, owns all the rights to that. And the same thing with Transformers, that's all Hasbro also, right?
Correct. Yes.
But I mean, doesn't Marvel still do things with Hasbro though?
No, because Hasbro, I'm trying to think of the company that they go out. IDW produces all their stuff now, and they produce pretty much everything. The real Ghostbusters, TMNT, so on and so forth. And I know like a lot of the IDW reprints. There's like issue number 5 of Transformers has the black suited Spider-Man as a guest star.
Oh,
they black out the pages in some of the reprints because they don't have the rights to Spider-Man.
Oh, wow.
And I think it's Livewire or something like that they created that they have problems with because it's, Marvel had created that character. That character actually appeared in Secret Wars so that Marvel could have claim over that character and then crossed over and became a Transformers character. And that's what gave Marvel the rights saying, oh, well, you don't have the rights to this character because she appeared in Secret Wars first.
Oh, wow.
But they ended up doing other things. There was a character that was, he basically comes across as Tony Stark, and you know that Marvel wanted that character to be Tony Stark in Transformers. Yeah. But it's a different character. I think Hasbro may have put their foot down and they changed it. They changed the character.
It is interesting because with the Spider-Man stuff, that's partially Sony, right? So there's certain characters that they have to write. Isn't that still the case? Or there's certain characters from Spider-Man that they have to have Sony sign off on?
Yeah, they have to tiptoe around, because I think Sony still has the rights to them back when they went bankrupt.
And then the other one was, and then all the Fantastic Four. The Fox had Fantastic Four, and so they couldn't have the Skrulls or
they couldn't have it reaches as far back to Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. Firestar was supposed to be the Human Torch, but because of the licensing agreement, they had to create a new character, and hence they made Firestar.
Oh, that's interesting. So I guess there's always been this, and now I guess we sort of have this multiverse concept that is a way to sort of patch these things. So since we're trying to turn everything into a universe, but we can't always have all these characters or all these situations that we want for one reason or another, I feel like the whole multiverse concept for Marvel anyway has been this like Band-Aid, Scotch tape, popsicle stick way of making everything make sense even when it doesn't make sense.
Right.
And so we're going to try to make sense of this, maybe create an alternate reality in which we have a topic for this episode. And it seems like it just should be on the tip of our tongues, right? I mean, I feel like if we set this thing and we are thinking about what the possibilities are, and we're actually within the episode contemplating all the different realities, it seems like there should be something really obvious that we should talk about, but I guess not obvious enough.
Oh, I got it.
Yeah?
Yeah. Silly cat videos.
Yes, silly cat videos. So we'll be back right after this with silly cat videos. Perfect for a podcast.
Perfect.
Attention, people of Earth! Attention, people of Earth!
The following message was transmitted to Earth via Cosmic Spool. Our award-winning web series, Mr. Lobo Does, is here on Blu-ray and other forms of physical media. Today is your last chance to accept our offer. Fly over to osi74.square.site or through this direct redirect link, www.bestow.tv/MLDS1. That's www.bestow.tv/MLDS1. There you can place your order and secure your copy of the Mr. Lobo Does Blu-ray or 2-volume DVD set. Earthlings, you have less than 24 hours to comply. And just to show we are serious, we will now destroy another neighboring planet that did not meet our demands.
Release the death ray!
In the universe to the right, that pantsless producer, Paul, and your host, Mr. Lobo, had started the show promptly and had done an entire interesting segment talking about the series, What If? But unfortunately, we are in the universe to the left, where they have only just realized that showing cat videos on a podcast isn't going to cut it.
Check this one out. Here, look at it's the links in the chat.
Yeah. I'm not, Paul. I'm not sure this is going over.
But look at that cat's face. I mean, that's hilarious.
He's cute. He's cute and all, but I don't know if anyone else can see these cat videos.
Oh yeah, you got a point there, huh?
So we did this whole intro. Now I'm thinking about it. We had this really good setup. We parodied What If.
Right.
That's a show we both seen that we enjoy and have a lot to say about.
Right, and read the comics.
Yeah, I read the comics too, back in the 70s.
Too.
I actually went and as I remember playing Dragon's Lair, the game, the stand-up arcade game in the 7-Eleven, and I didn't want to. I
Don
had
Adams, the famous artist Don Adams.
No. Don Bluth.
Close enough.
Missed it by that much. I'm the genie. Anyway, so I remember not wanting to spend all my money on playing Dragon's Lair in the 7-Eleven.
That was because an expensive game. Wasn't it like $3?
I think it was I think it was. I don't know if it was $3, but it was at least 50 cents, if not $1.
Maybe $1. Maybe $1.
Where you had it was a quarter eater for sure.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay, well, I'd much rather buy a copy of What If. So I ended up buying a copy of What If, and I wish I could remember what was the issue. I don't remember if it was the one where Howard the Duck is Iron Man, or I don't remember what the storyline of if Aunt May marries Dr. Octopus. I think actually that happens, right? That actually happens.
Did she marry Dr. Octopus, or did she marry Norman Osborn?
Maybe that's the What If. Maybe that's the What If. One of them actually happened, though.
Well, she married John Jameson in the current continuity.
John Jacob Jingleheimer. His name is my name, too. Whenever we go out, the people always shout,
hey,
John
look
Jacob
at this funny Jameson. Video.
All right. Anyhow, so I like that comic book. Short, long story longer. I like that comic book. I like the Watcher because he's a horror host.
Right.
And that's kind of interesting too, because, you're kind of from the world of comic books. I'm more from the world of anthologies and horror stuff. And I think What If is a lot of times, I would say, the crossover of those two things.
Right.
So it would be probably a perfect thing to talk about.
Right. But, I don't know. Do we have the time to talk about that one now? We wasted so much time writing that intro.
Yeah, well, we didn't waste a lot of time writing
Maybe
the intro.
if we put a pin in it. Although,
put a pin in what?
In What If. We'll put a pin in it. Maybe we'll come back around to this, because I don't know.
I know you wanted to do the Pansel episode, right?
I think it's there. Well, yeah, everybody wants us to do the Pansel episode. That's like the number 1 requested thing, and nobody knows what it is.
Well, in the other universe, maybe it is. In another universe. Where people are trying to cancel the pantsless producer. But anyhow, Pansel, I think we have to explain. We understand. We have to explain cancel culture, and then we'll have to explain Pansel culture.
Well, I mean, we could
That
always
might- and
we could
that
always
might be
use
too
an
much-
episode to seed it. We could just
Yeah.
somehow subliminally see
sort
it.
of mention it a
Sort of
little bit
mention
and
it.
then come back to that. Well, why
Maybe
don't we
come
put a
back to
pin
that.
in your pants?
Okay, we'll
or
put a
your-
pin in my pants and we'll put a pin in the what if. Although I mean,
No,
I
no,
remember,
Yeah.
I remember like what if. I remember the issue of what if that sold it for me because I was just getting
Yeah.
into Wolverine and stuff. Was what if
Yeah.
Wolverine fought Conan? And it was just hell's yes!
Wow.
I want to see Wolverine.
yeah, those are like-
fight Conan.
That's like an angry teenager's dream come true.
Right, and I was around a lot of angry teenagers.
So
Recently.
who won?
I don't remember. That's the damnedest thing is I don't remember. It's one of those things where I wonder if I bought the book but never read the damn thing. I just love the cover and love the concept. Like this is a good cover. This is a good concept.
That is the one weird thing about What If is that I always I never remember what happens.
Right.
Like
That's
it's
true.
always like there's all this intrigue and there's always this excitement at the question, but the
Right.
question is the answer. The thing that's the most intriguing about it is the question itself. So you rarely remember what the conclusion is.
Right. Right. And like for me, it was like I was just getting into comics, so a lot of the stuff was referencing, the 616 continuity. So I wouldn't necessarily
616 that's what is we explain that to non-comic book people?
616 is supposed to be the main universe. So that would be what would be in Loki
Our
the sacred
quote-unquote
timeline.
Our universe.
Yeah, our universe. So that is what is called canon, and anything that happens outside a universe isn't necessarily canon, or is canon to a different universe. So if say like a certain podcast went to a foot to the left, say, they would have their own canon, so that but that wouldn't necessarily affect a foot to the right. Which
Yes.
who knows? I mean, probably the people a foot to the right, they probably crashed and burned by now. They probably not even producing the podcast as long as we have.
Yeah, they're not on the ball like we are.
No.
We're right on top of it, because we're going to talk about What If, Paul. I think we should just talk about What If.
This far into the show, though?
I mean, I think so. Because we're just way ahead. Don't think of it as us being a half a show behind. Let's think that we're a half a show ahead of the next show.
Okay. But I have all these cat videos that I sent you during the break. What about like all that research I put into those cat videos? And we're not going to show any cat videos on the podcast?
Maybe that's something to put on. I don't know. Maybe you should put that on the YouTube channel instead.
All right. I guess. I don't think anybody's going to listen
I
to an episode
understand that
about
they're
What
looking
If,
for
but
cat videos on YouTube. I
mean,
think that there's a
everybody's
big
looking-
opportunity there.
Everybody's looking for funny cat videos. Nobody's looking for What If. Actually, you know what I do? I have a perfect What If scenario for you.
Yeah?
What
Yes.
if the internet wouldn't spoil goddamn Disney products on the internet? What if?
What if Disney shows didn't get spoiled
That
on
would
the
be
internet?
awesome. That would be
Yeah,
awesome.
that would be great.
That would be awesome.
I think, what if your friends weren't a bunch of trolls? That might be another question.
I wish that half the time it was like half the time I wish it was my friends. I think it's just the internet in general half the time.
Just stay off the internet.
Sometimes it's fucking Disney though. Sometimes Disney spoils their own shit.
Yeah, I know. I don't like that either. Like you're looking at Yahoo News and they're dropping major plot points or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, I know we're not talking about What If, but I mean, I know like Disney was like dropping major spoilers about the last the zombie episode.
Yeah.
And it's just like I don't get to it on Wednesday. I don't watch it the second it drops. And then it's like Disney's already has #Thanos. Like, you asses. Which, oh, by the way, spoilers. I'm sorry. I guess I should have put that warning out there. But
yeah, you should have.
But what if this episode doesn't air?
Yeah, what if we never finish making it?
We're at the rate we're stumbling around.
Boy, I really like the fact that Thanos is, because, and again, spoilers if you haven't seen it, but Thanos, of course, his whole attitude is different because of the way things play out. Mm-hmm. But his daughter is totally embarrassed of him every time he talks about his snap idea. Mm-hmm. And it's not genocide because it's random.
Yes. Like he's still justifying it.
She's just got this look on her face like, oh, Dad. Oh, God.
No, but I was referring to the zombie episode because you see Thanos. Thanos right before the
Yes.
ending. That would almost have been an equivalent of a post-credit scene.
Yeah, right. Yes, I was thinking for some reason when you mentioned Thanos, it popped me into the other episode with what if T'Challa, thank you, was Star-Lord instead of Quill.
Correct.
And so that was really fun to see how since he has such a sort of strong leadership qualities, how he was able to kind of influence everyone really positively in this sort of world of space pirates.
Right. Especially when they are the space pirates themselves.
Yeah, and he's kind of like turning them into like Robin Hood, where they're stealing from the rich and giving to the poor.
Right.
Yeah, I thought that was really nice, and it was weird that it was really his voice too, which means that they must have had that in the can a long time.
Yes. Well, even it's his voice in the zombie episode too.
Oh wow!
Which I'm like, I didn't even know. I knew that he did the voice for the one. I didn't know that he did the voice for the other. But it's animation, so he probably could have done the entire season, as far as we know.
I mean, that would be amazing if they had it all. If they had the season all written, and then there's still more of him to hear.
Right.
But that was really exciting that to hear his voice after his passing, and to hear him in the Marvel universe after his passing. That was actually a wonderful treat to get more of that character. Even though he's not Black Panther, he's still the same character.
Right. I know.
And then what was really weird, speaking of voices real quick, is I guess because of Scarlett Johansson's disagreements or lawsuits in regards to getting paid for streaming, they cut her out completely and revoiced her.
I was going to say, I didn't even notice if that was her or not. I couldn't tell, but I didn't know.
She was too good. She had too much inflection in her voice. Like I was feeling feelings and sensing emotions from that character. So
because I kept meaning to look up the credits afterwards, because I don't think that Nebula was the same actress either. I think that was somebody else, which it may depend on like their schedules and stuff. They not necessarily all came back, because like Tommy Lee Jones didn't come back for the Captain Carter episode. That was somebody different. And with somebody else voicing it, it took me a while to figure out that was the Tommy Lee Jones character from the movie.
Oh. Yeah, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
So far, everyone sounds right to my ears. Everyone seems like they are whoever they are.
Right.
Except for, like I said, Scarlett Johansson, I noticed just because I'm like, the performance was better.
Right.
But, but she did a great impression. If that's not, I was shocked because for a second I'm like, wow, is that really Scarlett Johansson?
Right.
Because it does sound like Black Widow. So kudos to whoever's doing it. I hope they just have her as Black Widow and everything going forward.
It's kind of now I know we're not talking about What If for this episode, but I just want to I want to throw this out there. So maybe we could hit this topic in a future episode, but I just just between you and me. Everybody listening, cover your ears, because I'm not going to stop the recording.
Cover your ears.
One of the weird
just watch cat videos while we're
here. I'll put a link in the description below. One of the weird things, and when I generally read the comics basically were one-offs. They were rarely sequels. They rarely like tied into each other. They were just like, here's what would happen, and then it just kind of ends or hangs there or whatever, and they never really come back to it. This series very much smells like it's going to spin off onto its own things, that they're going to come back to a lot of these episodes and retouch in, because there's a lot of like cliffhangers where it's like, that's too good, where they're not going to just leave it like that.
Yeah, I definitely feel like a lot of these things are going to pay off. At least I get that feeling that they're going to pay off in Multiverse of Madness or in No Way Home. You know what I mean? I kind of feel like they're kind of giving us a little taste of this new multiverse thing that Loki has kind of I guess it's even before Loki a little bit.
Right.
We've been tantalized with this concept of the multiverse.
Well, I kind of feel like if they go to season 2, it just may be part 2 of Marvel Zombies Part 2.
You're talking more about the series
I'm talking about
itself.
within the series itself, because like majority of the episodes, more than not, the episodes all have their own cliffhangers, and I kind of feel like come season 2, we're going to revisit the Marvel Zombies, and we're going to revisit T'Challa as Star-Lord, and we're going to revisit what if the Avengers died before the invasion, because they all had like little stingers at the end where it's like, oh, there's more. And I kind of feel like, would Disney just let it end like that, or would they actually kind of?
It's hard to say. It's hard to say, because part of me thinks, this is almost like a horror series or like a Twilight Zone.
It's an all over the place series. It's like sci-fi series, a horror series.
Yeah,
oh my god!
Sure, but like if you think of Twilight Zone, which is kind of in the realm of the imagination, a lot of them end sort of open-ended with sort of weird downbeat kind of notes to them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of the feeling that you're being left with, where they kind of build up something like they're going to say something that in regards to the conclusion or what's going to happen next or what we're supposed to look forward to, and then the other shoe never really
Lights, camera, action are all things you cannot really enjoy on a podcast. So let's get ready for Alan N. Smithy's Movie Minute. When the film Airplane 2, the sequel, 1982, ends, it shows a logo swooping in with Superman-type lettering. Coming soon, Airplane 3. And then William Shatner pops up on the screen in probably one of the very first post-credit teasers saying, "That's exactly what they'll expect us to do." Even though it seemed like a joke, apparently Robert Hayes, who played Ted Stryker, refused to come back to do Airplane 3 for fear of being typecast. We can only imagine what that film may have been like. Other unmade sequels that perhaps were made in the right-handed universe that were teased at the end of the first film were Buckaroo Banzai against the World Crime League, Dr. Detroit 2, The Wrath of Mom, History of the World Part 2, Remo Williams, The Adventure Continues, and Spaceballs 2, The Search for More Money. Although Rick Moranis said in a 2013 interview that they actually had a better title that was not teased in the film. Spaceballs 3, The Search for Spaceballs 2. Aaron?
Sucks.
In the universe to the right, listeners of the Sleepless Knights podcast have enjoyed 2 segments of well-thought-out, informative, detailed criticism and review of Marvel's What If. But here in the space ghetto to the left, just as it was getting interesting, a drunk driver hit a space satellite and disrupted all communication.
Mr. Lobo, are you getting me? Are we connected now?
What happened? It got dark in here for a split second, and my computer got weird. I lost you. Did anyone even hear the rest of what I was saying?
I don't know. Was anybody even listening anyway? I mean, I don't know. We told them to watch the cat videos in the description, but I don't think we ever told them to come back. So I don't know if anybody ever came back anyway.
Oh, jeez.
But my understanding of what came over the CB radio was that a drunk driver hit a space communication satellite.
Was there a car out in space?
Well, a space buggy or whatever they have out here. You know.
All right. So it hit a satellite, whether it was like a phone pole or a satellite.
Right. The entire satellite. Yeah.
So a car hit a satellite out in space, and that disrupted your transmission and our transmission.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I think the pantsless decoy just was flipping the light switch down there. I think that's why you lost power. I don't know why it went all the way, but anyway.
I feel like we need like a narrator or something for the show to like explain some of these things.
And I feel like we're halfway through, and this is pretty much all like out the window. This has kind of been trashed. I don't know.
It is kind of
we don't
a
really
trash
have a topic.
episode, sort of a filler. I mean, we do have a topic, I think. I think we should just commit at this point.
I mean,
don't you think?
You know, I mean, at this point, if we don't talk about it, people will think that this was an episode 1. This would be an episode that ends in a 1 if we don't talk about What If at this point.
Yeah, well, we've sort of not talked about What If a little bit. We sort of talked around What If, a little bit through What If, slightly behind What If, maybe a little bit to the left of What If. Maybe that's the problem, is that we're over here on the universe to the left. Right. Do you think in the universe to the right that they've actually already done a What If episode?
Those people on the right, they probably bungled it right from the start. They probably didn't even get up this morning. I mean,
they're probably still watching the cat videos, right?
Right away. You were up right away and you were ready to go. And you know, those guys, they were probably still hitting the snooze button.
I am a little groggy though. I'm not used to getting up that early.
Yeah. Well, I mean, out here, is it early? Is it late? Who knows? It's dark all the time.
I just thought that if just for once, because I've been kind of depressed lately, and I haven't been really kind of preparing for anything, and I'm just kind of letting one day roll into the next. I just thought if I just as soon as that alarm went off, instead of hitting the snooze bar 20 times, if I just sat up and put my slippers on and went downstairs and just got right to it,
Mm-hmm. Right.
And I just thought that if I did that maybe we'd kind of get a jump on things, maybe get a little ahead of ourselves for once. So
Crape Ducium, right?
Crape Ducium?
Crape Ducium sees the day.
No, this is just regular coffee. Coffee.
Oh, okay. But yeah, I mean, I get it. I mean, after that hot episode, that hot anniversary episode that we wanted to kind of, put our best foot forward. I mean, those guys on the right, they probably didn't even make it to their second anniversary. So, we're
what did you say?
Here.
Most podcasts fail before their 30th episode?
Yes. And we failed at 106. So, and we just continue to fail.
We just fail every episode.
Continue to fail. We failed every episode.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember what issue of What If was the one that I stopped playing Dragon's Lair to buy.
Right.
And I'm looking at the ones that came out in 1983. What If Thor, looks like What If 39 is What If Thor battled Conan, and that's from 1983.
Wow. So Thor and Wolverine took a swipe at Conan.
And it's funny because in the first glance, I thought they were in a boxing ring or something. Mm-hmm. But it's just they've got these white lines flying off of them because they're running at each other. So it looks like it's doing
the speed lines.
The speed lines look like there's ropes behind them, but they're just running at each other. And then the Watcher, interestingly enough, has his hand out over them. Mm-hmm. I don't know if he's I don't know why he put his hand over them. Is he doing the applause meter?
I don't know.
I mean, why does he have his hand over their heads?
Well, he can't interfere anyway. So why would he?
Maybe he's just neener. I can't interfere. Maybe that's what he's doing.
Unless you're of magic orientation.
I really like the fact.
That was awesome, by the way.
Yeah. See, I love that was awesome.
Especially when they teased it first before it happened.
The fact that Doctor Strange knew the Watcher was there was really awesome. That was really awesome. Mm-hmm. Boy, that was the saddest one.
Yes.
That one was a rough one. The one where he doesn't. Well, his hands don't get destroyed.
He doesn't break his hands. He broke his heart instead.
Yeah,
and was so what Utah the Watcher.
Yes, the Washer.
The Washer.
So he keeps trying to save his wife, and because of that, he just kind of neglects everything and creates sort of a bad version of himself.
Right. Well, it's kind of interesting, and I didn't really think about this until I actually read somebody's comment. Here's something where the internet actually provided some actual insight. Was that as he was told, spoilers by the way, but whatever. The Ancient One told him that this is a fixed point in time and it's unchangeable.
Yes. And what was the word of that? It was I thought there was a word, nexus point or unchangeable point.
Nexus is from Loki, so I don't know.
If they call it, if it's the same thing. Okay, but it's the same type of thing.
Maybe it might be. It could be. It could be a callback to Loki.
Okay, go ahead. Yes, unchangeable point in time.
It's an unchangeable point in time. But somebody pointed out where it's like, yeah, the only point that it was changed was that they weren't really much of a couple, and he kind of left on his own. That was the only one point where the universe was that was changeable, was that she wasn't really in love with him, or that they weren't a couple. Yeah. Whereas this is once they became a couple, it became a fixed point in time, and there was nothing that he could do to change that, because then she was destined to die every time, because that was not meant to be.
I see.
Interesting concept. Interesting theory.
Yeah, that is interesting. But yeah, that one, it was interesting. It also was interesting because I felt like the shows have been getting progressively darker.
Right.
I don't know if that's on purpose or on accident.
Right.
If they just decided to go, okay, well, let's start it off. Let's not, hit him over the head right away.
Right.
Let's kind of do something kind of fun first, and then the next one will be a little edgier, and then and so forth and so on. Because I think the Marvel Zombies one is the darkest one.
Right.
And that was the most recent one.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that would be darkest. Yeah. How ironic for Marvel Zombies to have the actress who plays Michonne as one of the main characters in Marvel Zombies, and that the Marvel Zombies in Marvel Comics is where Robert Kirkman got his start, and then did The Walking Dead.
Yes.
And then The Walking Dead, he cast the actress who plays Michonne.
He wrote some of those comics with the Marvel Zombies before doing his own famous zombie comic.
Right. And then the actress who plays Michonne in The Walking Dead plays, I don't know her name, but she's the guardsman to T'Challa. And she's the main character in the Marvel Zombies thing. So it comes back full circle, where it's like you've got a Walking Dead character. You got a Walking Dead that was inspired by Marvel Zombies, and a Walking Dead character playing a character in the Marvel Zombie. Like, it comes back almost back around to it on itself.
I had read something, and by reading I mean I saw something on YouTube.
Right. A funny cat video? Like this one?
Well, no, not the funny. Okay, that is funny, but let's put that away for now. Okay. I actually saw a thing about how Marvel had the trademark to the term zombie.
Right.
For the undead.
Right.
Because when the comics code happened, it was illegal for comic books to have crime in the title, horror, zombie. All of those things were things that were illegal to have as part of your comic book, because they were trying to prevent children from becoming communists or joining juvenile delinquent gangs, or I don't know what it's just this rampant right-wing McCarthyism where people were afraid that comic books were seducing our youth and turning them into sick perverts. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But they had the comics code introduced, which was that little seal. It was a little kind of symbol developed by the Archie people, by the way.
Oh, wow.
A little bit of seal of quality that was to assure you that this was safe for stores to stock, safe for your children to read. And that was kind of the beginning of real crimes never being depicted. Like Lex Luthor would never rob a bank. He would crack the earth in half, or try to steal the moon, or something that was impossible.
Come up with some sort of real estate scheme.
Yeah, but usually in the comics, things got more fantastical because they weren't allowed to kind of depict real crimes. They weren't allowed to show certain kinds of violence. Mm-hmm. And so you couldn't have a lot of publications went into the realm of magazines, because magazines weren't in the jurisdiction of the comics code. So the Marvel had a comic book called Tales of the Zombie, and they trademarked it. And so anything that had the word zombie in it for a period of, and I don't know how long they had that trademark, 12 years
right.
or
yeah,
whatever.
They eventually just left it go, I believe. I think they just let it lapse.
Superheroes used to be a trademark also.
Yeah. DC, I believe, had this trademark for superheroes, and then
they shared it for a while.
They shared it with Marvel, and they just said, "Oh, we'll just share it," and then it just became a all-around thing.
Yeah,
which is kind of weird for a litigious company like DC to kind of do that.
At a certain point, I think, popular opinion or the public's goodwill is worth more than whatever money there is to be made. Because, Coca-Cola created the modern version of Santa Claus. So before Coca-Cola, Santa Claus looked like a peddler and an elf. Mm-hmm. So there's a tiny man, in shabby clothes. And then after Coca-Cola, he was in red and white. And that version of Santa Claus is kind of, belongs to the world now. If Coca-Cola just tried to step up and try to sue everybody who was doing that version of Santa Claus, it would be such a black eye for them that they would just be hated, And I feel like if DC or Marvel tried to toe that line with superheroes, right, I feel like it would be that kind of unforgivable. It's like, look, this belongs to the world now. This is part of our culture. You just can't just, shut down every single person that's using this word.
Right. Well, I know there was a time when I was collecting and I was, keeping track of my collection. So I'd be like in the price guide or doing whatever in a database. And I've always noticed that there's three different versions of superheroes anyway. There's superheroes, 2 separate words. There's superheroes, 1 word, and there's superheroes hyphenated. And I kind of wonder if that was kind of the reasoning for it, where it's like, oh, they're just going to hyphenate, or they're going to just do a variation of it that eventually they're just like, whatever.
Yeah. I definitely have seen all those versions. And I think for a while there, Marvel had one or the other. Like Spider-Man, it used to be hyphenated. Mm-hmm. I think sometimes it is hyphenated, or is it always hyphenated?
I think it's always hyphenated. Sometimes there's confusion because sometimes the hyphen is like the spider logo. So it kind of confusing because it looks like it's just one word, but I think it's always been hyphenated.
So there's that, and so I think that and Ghostbusters, like, it's gone back and forth from being 1 word and 2 words, and I think part of that was when they were embroiled in all that weird legal business of the Filmation Ghostbusters versus the Columbia Pictures Ghostbusters.
And then there's like there's pod drama, and then there's pod drama too. that goes through a couple of iterations I've noticed on our channel.
Yes, pod drama. Yes, and then ours is not a pod drama. We haven't gone that far, have we? We just have pod drama.
I think it's pod drama, but it's all spelled together, so the double D's are together. Ha ha.
Clever.
You always keep your double D's together.
Mm-hmm.
Keep them in pairs.
That's right. Oh, wow. Speaking of which, William Winkler kept calling me today, director of the Double D Avenger, and I told him that we were recording a podcast.
Yeah,
but I sent
I know.
you the message.
I got that message. I'm like, wait, you're doing another podcast tonight? Why? What the fuck?
You were like thinking I was seeing another podcast on the side.
Cheating on me. You're cheating on me. I'm like, right. Why would he tell me now after he just said, I'm downloading Skype? Why would he tell me now?
Yes.
And not like a couple days ago where like, hey, I got another pod drama that I'm taking out
I'm doing another podcast. Sorry. No. You were the podcast. Somebody else is trying to call me. I for whatever reason, like, I don't understand like how that happens where you're replying to something and it goes to the totally wrong person. Right. Like I feel like it can't always be me putting it in the wrong place or my finger hitting the wrong button. Mm-hmm. I don't know what happens where the wrong hamster runs the wrong way on the wrong treadmill, but it just always seems to happen that way to me where it's a good thing that I don't talk shit on people that much because I feel like I would just be constantly, falling into these weird, just the other day, like I was talking to one of the writers of the show and then they came back with, okay, handsome. And then suddenly they were totally mortified because that was for their boyfriend that they were having a conversation with at the same time. And I'm like, what? You don't think Mr. Lobo's handsome?
Yeah.
And they're like, well, I don't know how appropriate that is.
Hashtag not my horror host.
Yeah. So anyway, that's fine.
Well, Here's a tutorial video
handsome.
I can send you here. This will show you how to cope with that. And it has a funny cat video at the end.
Oh, great! I love funny cat videos.
Hey, Mr. Lobo, I'm trying to buy a Mummy and the Monkey t-shirt for Miss Mittens, and I'm having trouble with getting on the OSI 74 shop.
Well, first thing, Paul, you're staring at a blank page. We don't have our store Etsy or ePay shops anymore. We have a Square site now.
Well, that's good because my monitor's square. Actually, it's more like a rectangle. Will it work on rectangles?
Secondly, we don't have the Mummy and the Monkey shirts on our site, okay? They have their own stuff. The OSI 74 shop is where you're going to find all our official in-house Outer Space International merchandise. The OSI 74 astronaut t-shirts, stickers, patches, posters, autographed Cinema Insomnia DVDs, and all our CI stuff like Mr. Lobo's coloring book and the Monster Match card game. I mean, you can even get a glow-in-the-dark Mr. Lobo shirt.
Huh. And what about stuff from the other OSI 74 shows?
Well, the OSI 74 Square site is also a hub to jump off to other shows and on-demand items for many of the weird, retro, and fun programs on our OSI 74 Roku channel. But if you're looking to buy a gift, I mean, why don't you keep it in the family and get a glow-in-the-dark Miss Mittens t-shirt for the Mummy and the Monkey?
I hate to be the one to break it to you, but they don't really watch your show. But I'll take a 62 triple extra large shirt. Can I get the producer's discount on that?
Don't be like Paul. Visit our shop at osi74.square.site.
Over in the right lane, Mr. Lobo and Paul finished early what would be an award-winning episode, beloved by Marvel fans and podcast listeners alike. They started sharing excited responses from grateful fans in their segment 5. But back here in the left-footed dimension, these losers are just randomly reading what-if titles off Wikipedia.
Here's one. It's like issue number 3.
Yeah?
It said, what if the Avengers never existed, which is based off the Avengers number 3, which is like totally like the Disney Plus thing where they
kind of. You're right. It is kind of like that one. I wonder how many of these would kind of are sort of like the ones they've already done. Are they looking at the comics to write these?
I mean, Kevin Feige has always been, is it Feige or Feig? Or Fogue?
I don't know. You have to be careful how you say it.
Yeah, I guess. I think it's Paul Feig, but I think it's Kevin Feig.
Okay, yeah.
Because they have similar last names.
Feig,
Fogue, Fum.
Yeah, okay.
But, yeah, I mean, can I say something?
It's apple juice, Feig.
I guess.
Yeah. What is it?
Well, I was going to say that the one thing that bugs me about like the Disney Plus series, is at least with the comic books they have like tons. They have years and years and years of continuity to spring from in this story and that story, and it's like they only have like 20 films to pick from. That like everything's based off the cinematic universe, and it's like how long can they do that until they run that well dry?
Yeah, could they just have, and what then Doctor Strange, what if he, hurt his back real bad in the car accident? Yeah.
What if he hurt his back instead of his, I mean, that's probably why like where I said in segment, what segment are we in? Did I even say this? I might have said this earlier in the segment. I might not have.
I don't. Do we sell a T-shirt if we said it in another segment?
I don't. It has to be in another podcast.
Another podcast. If I said this a segment ago, that isn't a shirt.
I guess maybe. Anyway.
All right. Yeah. Go ahead.
That's probably why they're probably going to sequelize. Maybe if they do season 2, they'll probably just sequelize What Ifs because they're just going to run the well dry otherwise.
Maybe as far as like why some of them are open ended, so they can just continue with that same.
So they can go back and continue with that same, and then maybe like 1 or 2 episodes go back and continue 1 or 2 of the season 1 episodes.
Keep going with that same thread that was caused by that one.
And then some of the other
change.
ones can go and they can pick and choose. They can go off of any new material that comes out.
I did hear them say that even though it seems like these first few episodes are somewhat random, there is kind of a bigger picture story that is going to thread them together somehow.
Right.
At least I heard that.
Right.
So the Fantastic Four, like I remember 2 of them with Fantastic Four. There's the issue 1, looking at this list on Wikipedia, there's the issue 1 would have Spider-Man joined the Fantastic Four, which is famously, I think, the first episode.
Right.
And they've done that, though, where Spider-Man has been with the Fantastic Four sometimes.
Multiple times. He's actually, he becomes a part of the Fantastic Four. He becomes part of Future Force, which is a play on, Fantastic Four, FF, Future Force.
Oh, okay. Got it.
And it's Spider-Man, and it's like the children of Reed Richards and Donna Summers. Is that her name? No.
Bad girls talking about them bad girls. No, not Donna Summer.
The Invisible Woman.
What I was going to say about Fantastic Four is that the other one I really remember was issue 6, which is the Fantastic Four all having different powers than the ones that we know. And did they just switch up where they had each other's powers, or did they have totally different powers?
They've done that in the movie. Because I think was it the first one? No, it wasn't the first one because they were establishing their powers. I think it was in the Fantastic Four 2 where the power cosmic screwed them up and they each had each other's powers. So they actually kind of did that cinematically, even though that doesn't count.
And then we were talking about Captain America earlier, and then they were talking about Captain America who wasn't frozen after World War II or hadn't vanished during
Issue
World
number
War
5,
II.
what if Captain America had not vanished during World War II?
But you were saying that he didn't really vanish in World War II.
Yeah, from my understanding was that he basically, after World War II, there was no real need for Captain America. They tried to put him in other adventures, but eventually that character faded. And then they just brought him back. It says based on Avengers number 4, so I'm wondering if that's when they brought him back. So that's probably when they brought him back. But you were talking about Seduction of the Innocent, and that was one of the things where the weirdness, like with Captain America, like if you want to find like weird stories based on Marvel, Captain America was like in hell fighting the devil and stuff like that.
Wow.
Like they were really pushing that horror angle because horror was really popular during that time, like up until that court case.
So you're telling me that Captain America fought monsters in that time that he was supposedly frozen?
Yes, and they would never have Spider-Man deal with the devil, Mephisto, ever in a modern storyline, ever. Brand new day.
So that's kind of interesting. And what do comic readers? I mean, do comic readers? Which canon? I mean, do they like go? Oh, just ignore those ones where he's fighting the devil.
I guess, or
he's
it's
supposed to be frozen here. This is just a dream he's having while he's frozen.
It's either it's non-continuity, or it's outside the 616 universe, or it's. Comics famously do what retcon, retroactive continuity, where it's like whatever they write, they write going forward, they rewrite the history going backwards. So
some of these I don't understand why they would make such a big difference. Like, what if the world knew Daredevil was blind?
Yeah.
Do you think that, like, why would just that one little thing, like, oh, wait a second,
he's blind?
Daredevil's blind.
Who knew? He wears a mask with no eye holes.
And he's got a cane. How would we know if he didn't tell us? Like, that's a whole issue. That's what I don't understand.
Yes, and a lot of these things actually got adopted into the 616. You had pointed out.
What if the Avengers fought evil in the 50s? Like, what difference would that make if they fought evil in the 50s?
Right. I don't know.
The music would be different,
I guess.
I don't know.
You had pointed out like the Hulk having the brain of Bruce Banner, which that is even cinematically he has the brain of Bruce Banner now. That's a thing that happened.
Yeah, that's not even and that's what I think is a thing for what if they have already seen this happen in the comics. I'm sure Disney's going, okay, well, there's certain actors we'll never have again. There's certain situations we can't go. If we do it as a what if and people love it, we can adopt it.
Right.
And canonize it.
And just make it canon. There's another one. Where was it at? I saw it was with Conan. It was what if Conan was in modern time? And
I see that one.
And he's in modern time. It's called the Savage Avengers. It's Conan, Wolverine. It's all the savage characters, but they're all in modern time. They're not.
So that's not even a what if anymore.
That's not even a what if. That's canon now.
What if Sergeant Fury fought World War II in outer space?
He'd be out there alone. That would be a short story. It's like one page. It's a pamphlet.
He just asphyxiates in deep space. What if Nova had been 4 other people? Is Nova 4 people?
Nova's multiple people.
Is it like Firestorm, where it's like people's molecules all put together into one person?
No, it's kind of like Green Lantern Corps. It's matter of fact, I think Nova is basically ripping off the Green Lanterns. They're just space cops. They're just all different
I always
people.
thought Nova was one guy.
Nova is one guy, but they're all part of the Nova Corps, which is a group of people.
Wow, that is straight Green Lantern ripoff.
But then there's I think there's 4 Earthbound characters, and how about this for an unfortunate name? One of them is named Richard Rider.
Oh boy.
Yes, Marvel named a character Dick Rider, and try putting that in the kiddies version of the books.
They wouldn't do that today. That's everybody's favorite. Oh, cancel culture would put an end to that.
It even says in there, instead of the random decision for Richard Rider to become Nova, the powers of Nova are transferred to a vengeful wife whose husband had been murdered.
What if Captain America had been elected president? I mean, he couldn't have done a worse job than any other president.
Here we go. We can be topical. What if Shang-Chi or Shang-Chi or whatever Wang Chung, master of Kung Fu, fought on the side of Fu Manchu?
Oh, where's that? Oh, yeah.
Issue number 16.
Issue 16, I see it. All right, Dad, I'll go ahead and be the biggest criminal mastermind of the whole world.
Did I just spoil the movie? I haven't even seen the movie yet. And
I don't know. I guess we could be spoiling it. So that's interesting. If he fought on the side of Fu Manchu, we can't really do that anymore because Fu Manchu's been divorced from the universe. But now it's what? Is it the Mandarin or a version of the Mandarin?
I think it's the Mandarin in Iron Man was the fake Mandarin.
That's a fake Mandarin,
He was a fake
in
Mandarin.
Iron Man?
And then there is a Marvel short that came out that was on the DVD. That doesn't show him, but shows that there is a real Mandarin because he comes out after that guy.
Oh, okay. So he gets captured. Doesn't he get captured by?
Or he gets taken out of jail. Because he's in jail. He's serving time, and I think the real Mandarin comes out, or Mandalorian or whatever, comes after him. But I haven't seen the movie for Shang-Chi, but I have seen the promotional posters. So this is a spoiler from Disney directly that has that version of the Mandarin on the poster. Has that actor, the fake Mandarin.
The fake Mandarin.
What's
Interesting. Yeah. Well,
Gandhi.
it seems like they're trying to find ways to tie it to. It seems like a lot of characters from other Marvel movies previous are kind of being promoted up. Right. You know?
Well, it's like it's Marvel. Like, we botched this, and now let's unbotch this because all the fans were pissed about that.
Because aren't they putting the even characters that are from other because the Incredible Hulk movie with the Abomination, right?
Right.
Aren't they bringing the Abomination back with that same actor?
Abomination he's shown in the trailers of Shang-Chi, and he's signed on to be in the She-Hulk Disney Plus series.
Oh, wow.
And
that's the same Abomination
I believe so. I think it's Tiny Tim Curry, Tim Meadows, Tim.
Yes.
Tim the Toolman Taylor, Tim Drake.
Boy, what if all the possibilities, all of the different Tims, all the Tim variants, all at once. Wow, Timbuk 3. Timber.
I don't even remember what the original question is. I don't even remember why I'm saying Tim's.
Doesn't matter. Not in this universe.
I lost my train of thought. Did you see number 18 on there?
Okay, hold on.
That
18.
That looks like what they did on Disney Plus.
What if Doctor Strange were a disciple of Dormammu, based on Strange Tales number 10? So Dormammu is who?
Dormammu was the guy that I've come to bargain, and he.
Oh, okay.
But in that episode where he goes evil on the Disney Plus series, Dormammu is one of the entities he absorbs.
Oh, right. Yes, that is kind of like that. He's definitely like this is our bad Doctor Strange, a darker Doctor Strange. And then, Invisible Girl marries the Submariner in one of them. Doctor Doom has become a hero,
and that one's actually a sequel. The Invisible Girl of Fantastic Four married the Submariner is a sequel to What If #1. So that blows my thing out of the water, where they don't sequelize within the own series.
So they do sequelize. What if the Hulk had become a barbarian? That's interesting. What if
Aunt May had been bitten by a radioactive spider?
Oh,
There's
wow.
a backup story in that issue.
Gwen Stacy had lived. Oh, I see that. Yeah, Aunt May had been bitten by the ray. See, it has Spider-Gram. This old lady. What if Thor and the Avengers had fought the gods? Okay. Unimind is the backup story. The first Unimind, explaining the origins of the concept of the Unimind. Dude, what is the Unimind, Paul?
I don't know. I'm clicking on it right now.
Oh, no.
It's a part of the Eternals, which is a movie that's coming out soon.
Wow, how relevant.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe they could possibly do a Unimind story if they've got the Eternals coming into the cinematic universe.
Right.
What if the Man-Thing had regained
his Thing Man,
Ted Salas's brain? I guess Ted Salas is the Man-Thing.
Yeah. Yeah, there's another unfortunate title, the Giant-Sized Man-Thing.
Yeah. Yeah, that comic book title gets a lot of press on the internet because Giant-Sized Man-Thing just sounds funny to say. Okay, what if Phoenix had not died? That's a whole Phoenix saga.
Owned that one, and I owned that before I actually ever read the Phoenix saga.
Daredevil. What if Daredevil became an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D.? What if the Avengers defeated everybody? That's really vague.
Is that like everyone? Is that like Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe?
Like everyone knocks a 6-year-old off a seesaw. Just everyone. Everyone. You know, slaps a cigar out of an old man. J. Jonah Jameson. Yeah, slaps a cigar out of J. Jonah Jameson's mouth.
Number 31, I own too.
What if Dazzler? Now they're going to bring in Dazzler because she was just like the disco superhero.
Dazzler was in the Phoenix movie, but that was when it was owned by Fox. So they'll probably reboot all that crap.
Hold on, something just happened. What happened, honey? Doctor Strange, what if he hadn't become Masters of the Mystic Art? What is it, him just working at IKEA? Like, what's the whole issue about if it doesn't become Master of the Mystic Arts?
What if the Dazzler? So were you at the Dazzler became the Herald of Galactus? Was that the one?
Oh yeah, I didn't get to say that because I guess
because the cat pissed on the floor.
Surfer is on a surfboard. She's on her roller skates, her disco roller skates.
Oh yeah.
So. And then the other one was, what if Iron Man was trapped in the time of King Arthur? That kind of feels like a fun story. Yeah. But wouldn't he just be another knight in armor, only with retro rockets and repulsor rays?
Or does he bring his modern tech does he bring the modern tech backwards?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, then all the knights are using repulsor rays.
31's one that I own.
They look like this is the same one. What if Conan the Barbarian was stranded in the 20th century? Isn't that the same thing as what if Conan walked the earth today? I mean, that's the same comic.
I guess.
That's the same what if, right?
I guess. Maybe it's just like, well, what if he was in New York and not
what if we just reprinted an old issue instead of writing something new?
That's very possible. It could be just a reprint. Although I guess they would footnote if it was a reprint because a lot of them say reprinted in such and such underneath.
Oh, I see. It's an alternate ending of What If number 13. So so that's kind of interesting. So it's another situation where it's the same, which they could do on this Marvel series, where they have the same What If but with a different outcome.
Yeah. But would people start to riot after a while? Or it's like, come on.
I think they would get annoyed with that.
Come on.
Those kind of shenanigans. Considering they were throwing things at the screen and crying on The Mandalorian when there was a quote unquote filler episode.
Right.
I feel like that the fans would not put up with, like a Rocky and Bullwinkle situation where he reaches his hand into the same magic hat and pulls out a rhino instead of a lion, and it's supposed to be a different cartoon.
Right. What if Conan the Barbarian also includes an extended ending of What If 32? So it's alternate ending of What If 13 and an extended ending of What If 32.
Yeah, that's interesting. They went there three times.
Yeah. Well, 32 is what if the Avengers had become pawns of Korvac. So I'm assuming Korvac must be a villain of Conan, maybe.
Oh, perhaps. Interesting. So they're sequelizing two different issues.
No, Korvac is a fictional character from Marvel Comics, appeared in Giant-Sized Defenders. Defenders is a series that features Doctor Strange. So
Giant-Sized Defenders versus Giant-Sized Man-Thing.
Yes.
Okay, so the Prime universe where all of the our supposed universe, not ours, because we're stuck over here in the stupid left universe.
Right. I don't know.
The basic reality that everyone's supposed to be adhering to in Marvel is the 616 universe.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought of something.
What's that?
We should have done the What If episode as episode 616.
All right, well, I'm going to mark this down as a lost episode and a lost cause, and we'll just go back to Pansel as being the 106 episode. And
all right, yeah.
We'll put a pin.
Yeah.
We'll put a pin in this and take the pin out of my pants. And
we'll take the pin out of the pants, and just go back and I just format the card, start over.
But you know what? I mean, we still got further than those guys on the right-handed universe.
Of course. Those guys are idiots. I'm sure that they're still talking about they're probably doing a third Loki episode. That's what those guys are probably doing.
Right. I think I'm ready for a nap.
Answer the alarm tomorrow. More likely, the snooze bar will be hit over and over again. Perhaps we should have stayed in the dimension to the right. Perhaps not. Let's return next week to see what happens to the many Mr. Lobos and many Pauls across all of the nanoseconds. On second thought, let's not and just say we did. Until never, I am the washer.
I knew it!
Or am I?
You have been listening to the Sleepless Knights podcast, or should we say, pODDcast.
pODDcast.
Emphasis on the odd. Our theme is by Mars Homeworld at Deadhouse Music. Our opening announcement is by Ophelia Necro. She does a radio show called Suicide Watch. And you could reach Mr. Lobo at cinemainsomnia.com, or find me on YouTube, YouTube/Mr. Lobo. MISTERLOBO. Mr. Lobo on Facebook, Facebook/MR.LOBO, or on Twitter, at Mr. Lobo, MISTERLOBO.
Or you can find myself, Paul Sanders, or better known as Bestow TV, at Bestow.tv, on YouTube /Bestow TV, on Twitter at Bestow Prod, PROD, and on Facebook, Bestow TV.
If you want to place an advertisement with this podcast, and gosh, why wouldn't you? We could be talking about you right now. Contact us, Mr. Lobo at cinemainsomnia.com. That's MRLOBO @CINEMAINSOMNIA.com. Or support us on Patreon. Patreon supporters get to hear this podcast before anyone else, and a lot of other great stuff, right, Paul?
Sure.
Doesn't get it better than that, right? So come join the fun at
patreon.com/sleeplessknightspodcast.
That's
patreon.com/sleeplessknightspodcast.
Please stay up with us next week for another Sleepless Nights podcast. Or should we say, pODDcast.
pODDcast.
The best thing about being an insomniac is never having to say goodnight.
I'm up. What a day.
You haven't even opened your eyes yet. It hasn't been a day.
You mind sharing a little bit more of those blankets?
What are you doing in our bedroom, Paul?
Ugh.